Honestly, I had no idea the type of boarding school that it was. So in my mind, I didn't even know how religious it was. I didn't know what any of the rules were. To be fair, my mom didn't even know to the extent of what it was like there. So I thought I was going to a boarding school that you'd see in the movies where it's just a whole bunch of girls and we get to like chit chat and make friends and you're just away for a year. And so I was like not looking forward to it, but I was also like, cool, I get to go live at a boarding school for a year. This is going to be really interesting. And I was semi kind of looking forward to it. I had no idea. And then on the plane ride there, my mom's crying and crying and crying. And I'm like playing a word search and I'm just like pissed off, just like whatever. Like, I don't know why you're crying. You're the one that's taking me here. So
Yeah.
yeah, we were on the way to the boarding school. I was semi excited, but as soon as we pulled up to it, everything changed. I knew it wasn't like that. It was like, skirt, skirt, flip the script. This isn't what I thought it was going to be.
So describe it then. What are you seeing? What are you noticing that is not what you thought it would be?
Well, we drive up to the property, and the property is in the middle of a city called Jay, Florida. So basically, it's a one stoplight city. It's surrounded by nothing but peanut fields, cornfields, and the entire community is gated. And as soon as you walk up to it, you have some staff members that come outside and they meet you at the door and they go to bring in me and my mom, and I have to turn around because they have to punch in a code. There's magnetic alarms on all of the windows and all of the doors. It's a pretty locked down facility. As soon as we go inside, they said, okay, say goodbye to your mom. And my mom was just like, wait, that's it? Just say goodbye? He's like, this is where you say goodbye. And so I basically gave my mom a hug goodbye. They took me into a bathroom. They strip searched me. They made me take all my jewelry off, give them any piece of me that I brought in with me, they wanted to take with them. And then they made me take a cold shower and to wash off all of my sins. So basically, a quick little baptism. After that, they put me in a bright yellow shirt and some stockings and a long skirt. And I had to go listen to a last minute chapel. And then they took me into a dormitory. Right from then and there, you are on buddy. That's what new people are. They get put on buddy. You have to wear a bright yellow shirt for the entire time you're on buddy. And you can't speak to anybody except for the person who is your buddier. How that's laid out is the longer you've been there and the more you've been able to prove that you're a good girl and that you're willing to follow the rules, then the more privileges you get, which means you're in charge of new people. And so when you're on buddy, you can only speak to the person that's watching, only if there's certain staff members around that can listen to your conversation. And you can never go further than 6 feet from that person. So like anytime you have to take a shower, go to the bathroom, like you have always got to be within 6 feet of that person who's babysitting you, basically.
Jeez.
So they had me put on the yellow shirt, put on the clothes, and we go into the chapel. And there's this person that I've never met who is just a girl that got sent there just like me, who is now my watcher. At this point, I'm just kind of like taking it all in. I don't have freedom of speech. I'm not allowed to have this beautiful ring that I got from a family member. Can't have that. I can't have any personal items that are special to me that give me comfort or anything like that. There's a lot of rules for new people. Like you can't have more than 3 personal items on your bed. All of the clothing was really strange. You have to cover up your legs completely. You're not allowed to wear black underwear. You can't paint your nails. The list goes on and on. But like at first, my initial feeling was like, where the hell am I right now? What's about to go down?
Yeah, it feels like you've just been entered into a prison system.
Yeah, and it's honestly wild. Like not to have a pissing contest with prisons or inmates, but you can't even have a conversation. You can't see or speak to your family the first 3 months you're there. You're not allowed to talk about anything having to do with your life before getting sent there. You're not really allowed to talk about anything that doesn't have to do with the Bible or God. You can't have any relationships outside of that place. So you're not allowed to have any contact with any of your friends back home. You're not allowed to
What?
talk about your friends back home. You're not allowed to talk about famous people or the president or music. You can't even listen to music, have any contact with the outside world whatsoever. You can't even go outside unless you've been there for a certain amount of time and you get PE or yard work duty. So you're really cut off completely from society and the outside world. So yeah, you're just like living under a rock for a year or however long you get sent there for.
Oh my gosh. So you enter into this. Everything is a shock. You're trying to acclimate. You're also a rebellious teenager, which rebellious, you're just kind of doing normal teenager things. And you're stuck in this place. So how is your mentality? Is it, okay, I'll just pretend until I get out of here? Or you're like, oh, I have to actually follow the rules and be good? Or what's your game plan once you enter into this place?
It is so funny. I actually have this thought all the time. Like, if I got sent back there today, I would do it so differently. I went straight into like, I just need to follow the rules and keep my head down, because literally the moment I got there, I'm sitting there in the chapel, and behind me, there was this girl who was crying and sobbing, and she wouldn't stop crying or sobbing. And they called 6 other girls to go floor her. With flooring is when they'd have like 6 or 7 girls, whether it's staff members or other girls that are helpers, which have like gone up the scale with how good you are in your seniority. And you'd go and sit on top of the girl until she stops crying. So you've got 6 or 7 people sitting on top with all of their weight on them. Their arms and limbs go super numb. They start turning purple until the girl stops crying or stops trying to get away or stops hyperventilating or showing any large emotion. Until they stop doing that, then that's how long the girls will sit on them floor and floor them floor. So I looked behind me, and immediately they were like, turn around, don't look. You're not allowed to look, because the girl that got floored was on buddy, and buddies aren't supposed to acknowledge that other buddies exist. If you see someone in a yellow shirt, you have to turn around, not look at them. But it's my first night, so I turned around to look, and then all these girls started sitting on top of her, and I was like, what the fuck? What is going on? And so basically she was like, if you don't contain yourself, if you don't do what you're told, for one, but also if you don't contain yourself, if you want to show big reactions with your crying or hyperventilating, that's going to happen to you. So make sure you contain that. And so immediately you're taught, any type of feeling that is a normal human emotion, don't feel it. You're wrong for feeling it. In fact, you probably just are sinning and you need to get right with God, or else you wouldn't be feeling that way. When really you've got kids from the age of 10 to 15 who miss their parents, who are scared, who are in a place where they have no access to any of the support that, if they ever had any to begin with. So you're getting cut off from all of that. It's a normal reaction to be scared and to cry. Like, I felt like I got dropped off at a daycare and my mom forgot to pick me up. It's the strangest feeling in the world to be a pivotal part of your growth and how you perceive the world and yourself, and to be sent to a place like that and to learn that every feeling that you have, that if it isn't a happy one, it's because there's something bad and wrong with you. So that was a really interesting perspective to go into that. I kept my head down and realized really quickly, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to get floored. So I'm going to do what they say. And I would say it took me I was brainwashed within like 2 weeks. I literally was beginning to believe this was the best place for me to be, because I didn't want to die and go to hell. And I also knew that I was a bad girl. And that's why my mom sent me to this place. I was acting up and I was doing bad things. And this was my chance to make things right with my mom and make things right with my life. And thank God my mom sent me to this place, because if she didn't, I wouldn't have realized how bad I was and needing to change. So it was very quickly after being sent there that I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Oh gosh, this is right. This is good for me.
Wow.
And seeing the different things that were happening all around me, for instance, it would start with the simplest, littlest one, which was writing demerits, which basically you had to write lines, sentences, if you did anything, if you broke any rules or did anything wrong. So I would be vacuuming and the cord would come out of the wall and I would have to write 5,000 times, I will be more careful next time I vacuum. Something super simple like that. If you don't write your lines and they build up, then if you get a certain amount of lines, they'll put you in something called the Get Right room. The Get Right room is a room that's basically the size of a walk-in closet. And if you get put in the Get Right room, you have to sit in there all day and night. You can only leave to go to the bathroom, and they put on preaching tapes from beginning to end the entire time you're there. So you're listening to preaching tapes and writing lines the entire day. The only time you leave, like I said, is to use the restroom. And so there was a girl that was in the Get Right room the day that I got to that boarding school, the day that I left as well. So every single day for 367 days, that girl spent every single day in the Get Right room. She never left.
Wait, she was there for an entire year?
Because she didn't write her lines, and they kept stacking up and stacking up and stacking up because she refused to write her lines.